Welcome to the channel, where the energy is always high and the updates are always fast, furious, and straight out of Cowboys Nation. If you're one of the real ones, those fans who bleed blue and silver, who live for the drama, who know that every off-season move can be the difference between another year of heartbreak and the return to glory, then you're exactly where you need to be. Because today, we're diving into something wild, unexpected, and game-changing. Not one, but two major additions just rocked the Dallas Cowboys roster, and it's sending shockwaves across the entire NFL. First up, a surprise pick in the defensive backfield that nobody saw coming: Trey Amos. A cornerback whose name wasn't exactly being shouted from every rooftop, but whose potential has the Cowboys front office buzzing. And if that wasn't enough, Dallas doubled down on the surprise factor by landing TreVeyon Henderson. Yes, that TreVeyon Henderson, the star running back from Ohio State, whose talent has been the talk of college football for the past few years. This is more than a roster move. It's a signal. A loud one. The Dallas Cowboys aren't just tweaking at the edges. They're reshaping their identity. They're betting on youth, speed, and raw, untapped talent. And the NFL better take notice. Let's talk about Trey Amos first. When the Cowboys were on the clock, fans and analysts alike were expecting a different name. Some expected another offensive lineman to bolster depth. Others were clamoring for a big-name corner who had been mocked to Dallas for weeks. But instead, the Cowboys turned the draft board on its head and called the name of Trey Amos. For many casual fans, the reaction was confusion. Who? Followed by frantic Google searches and YouTube highlight reel binges. But those in the know? They immediately understood the gamble. They knew that this was a calculated move by Will McClay and the scouting department, one that's already being compared to some of the under-the-radar picks that eventually turned into stars. Amos played his college ball at Alabama and Louisiana, two places that preach physicality, discipline, and aggressive defensive play. At first glance, he doesn't have the household recognition of a first-rounder, but when you put on the tape, you see something different. He's rangy. He's sticky in man coverage. He plays with confidence. And most importantly, he doesn't back down. Standing at 6'1" with solid arm length and fluid hips, Amos has the physical profile of a modern outside corner. The Cowboys saw that. Dan Quinn saw that. And now, with his arrival, the Cowboys secondary becomes one of the deepest and most intriguing units in the NFL. Pair Amos with Trayvon Diggs, Darren Bland, and Stephon Gilmore if he sticks around, and suddenly you've got waves of coverage talent that can blanket even the most dynamic offenses. And let's be real, in a league dominated by explosive passing games and superstar receivers, you can never have too many corners. But what makes this move even more intriguing is what it says about the Cowboys' approach. They're not just chasing names. They're looking for the right fit. Players who match the culture, the scheme, and the moment. Amos isn't walking in expecting to start day one. He's walking in ready to compete, to grow, to earn it. And those are the kinds of players who thrive in Dallas. And just when Cowboys fans were still processing the Trey Amos news, boom, another bombshell drops. Reports start trickling in. Tweets start going viral. And then, confirmation, TreVeyon Henderson is headed to Dallas. And let's pause for a second, because this is massive. Henderson isn't just any running back. He was once the top RB recruit in the nation. A phenom out of Ohio State. A player who burst onto the college football scene with a mix of speed, vision, and explosiveness that left fans breathless and defensive coordinators frustrated. Injuries slowed him down in recent years, but the talent? Still undeniable. The upside? Off the charts. And now he's joining a Cowboys team that is in the middle of reshaping its backfield. Gone are the days of Ezekiel Elliott being the unquestioned workhorse. Tony Pollard, the breakout star, is no longer in Dallas. And while there are some solid names on the depth chart, there was an undeniable sense that the Cowboys were missing that spark. That game changer. That back who could take a handoff, bounce it outside, and turn it into 6. And that's exactly what TreVeyon Henderson brings. When healthy, he's one of the most electric runners in all of football. A legit home run threat every time he touches the ball. And now, paired with Dallas' offensive line still one of the better units in the league when healthy, the potential is scary. Really scary. But let's not overlook what this move means from a team-building perspective. The Cowboys didn't just grab Henderson because he's flashy. They grabbed him because he fits the evolving identity of this offense. Fast. Versatile. Dynamic. Imagine a backfield where Henderson lines up next to Dak Prescott in shotgun, motioning out wide to create mismatches against linebackers. Imagine the screen game. The outside zone runs. The jet sweeps. The creativity this move unlocks for Mike McCarthy and Brian Schottenheimer is next level. And if Henderson stays healthy, and that's the big if, that everyone will be watching, this could go down as one of the steals of the offseason. But let's not stop there, because these two moves, Trey Amos and TreVeyon Henderson, signal something deeper. A shift in how the Cowboys are thinking. For years, fans have criticized the front office for being too conservative, too reliant on veteran talent, too hesitant to swing for the fences. But this is bold. This is aggressive. This is Dallas saying, we're betting on youth. We're betting on upside. We're betting on our coaching staff to develop stars instead of just paying for them. And that kind of mindset could be exactly what the franchise needs. Because let's face it, the Cowboys have been knocking on the door for years. They've been good. Sometimes even great. But not quite great enough. Not quite Super Bowl level. Moves like these? They could be the spark. Now let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. With the additions of Amos and Henderson, the Cowboys roster looks significantly different than it did just a few weeks ago. On defense, the secondary is deep, fast, and versatile. Trayvon Diggs is a ball hawk. Darren Bland is ascending fast. Stephon Gilmore brings veteran leadership. And now Amos adds competition and depth. On offense, Henderson joins a group that includes CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, Jake Ferguson, and more. This is a roster that's ready to compete. But the key now? Chemistry. Coaching. Execution. Because talent alone doesn't win championships. It's how you use it. How you develop it. How you unleash it when it matters most. So what are the expectations now? What's the ceiling for this team? That's the million-dollar question. But make no mistake, with these two moves, the Cowboys just raised the bar. This isn't a rebuild. This isn't a bridge year. This is a win-now roster. And the pressure is on. For Dak Prescott. For Mike McCarthy. For Dan Quinn. For everyone. These are the kind of moves that can define a season. Maybe even a legacy. And for fans? It's time to buckle up. Because this ride is going to be wild. And now, as we look ahead to training camp and the preseason, all eyes will be on how Trey Amos and TreVeyon Henderson adapt to life in Dallas. How quickly can Amos pick up Dan Quinn's scheme? Can he push for playing time right away? Can he carve out a role on special teams, where so many young players make their first impact? And what about Henderson? How does he look in practice? Is he fully healthy? Can he flash that same explosiveness that made him a 5-star recruit and a college star? Every snap will be scrutinized. Every rep will be evaluated. Because when you make moves like this, when you surprise the league and add 2 potential game changers, expectations come with it. But if history has taught us anything, it's that the Cowboys thrive in the spotlight. They don't shy away from pressure. They embrace it. And with these 2 new additions, they're setting the stage for what could be one of the most exciting seasons in recent memory. A season filled with speed, surprises, and maybe just maybe the kind of magic that Cowboys fans have been waiting decades to feel again. The journey starts now. And it starts with 2 names you better learn to say right, Trey Amos, and TreVeyon Henderson. Get ready, because Big D just got a whole lot bolder. Thanks for riding with us through all the latest from Cowboys Nation. If you're just as hyped as we are about Trey Amos and TreVeyon Henderson making waves in Dallas, make sure to smash that like button, drop a comment with your thoughts, and hit that subscribe button so you never miss a moment of the action. This is just the beginning. Let's go Cowboys!